What would happen if the US military only defended the 50 US states and territories and stopped all foreign military aid? No one's even mentioning the massive impact to global trade. The US Navy plays a huge role in safeguarding trade routes against both hostile nations and pirates. US commerce internationally would suffer and US soft power would diminish. There'd likely be a period of aggression from China as well as other regional powers, things like invading Taiwan, probably border changes in the Middle East and Africa, and increased instability in South America and a number of island nations. Massive power vacuum. International trade would taper, so would the US economy. The world would go through a depression greater than any it had ever seen. Piracy would increase, as would global instability. Russia would invade Europe, China would invade Taiwan and the Philippines and Asia. There would be wars all over, and then nukes would fly. Chaos. The rise of China more than it already is, increased violence everywhere that suddenly has aid cut off, some friendly governments overthrown. People always say we need to take care of our own first, and they're complaining about foreign aid without fully grasping that a lot of foreign aid is doing just that. We would lose global influence and power, and other countries, Russia, China, would fill that void. Countries would be forced to form alliances without America, joining China, etc. Our economy would be crippled at the very least. Our foreign commitments are part of our effort to defend the 50 states. We bring the fight to you, not back to our home. Project power or have it projected on you. China, Russia, and Iran would gradually absorb the major players in international commerce, leading to the diminution of the US on the world stage, higher prices and reduced availability of materials for you, and an eventual weakening of the US far enough to become prey to one or all of them. Without the world community, no one, not even the US, would be strong enough to resist, especially if weakened. The US would not use nuclear warfare in defense. We know it and they know it. There will be plenty of folks here poo-pooing the idea. They simply do not have sufficient knowledge to recognize the very real threat these nations pose. Their entire being is premised on control and power. The existence of a strong US holds them in relative check. That would disappear. All military aid we provide is self-serving. None of it is altruistic. We would then have to actually defend the 50 states. As our trading partners collapse without security support, our own economy would decline significantly. Millions of Americans in the defense industry and related would be out of work. In short, everything you buy would become more expensive. A lot more expensive. Prices would rise for everything and availability of goods would become scarcer. Essentially, global trade would struggle. We tried it with Germany and Japan prior to WW2. It didn't work out so well because Europe and Asia got taken over by hostile foreign powers. If it weren't for the US giving arms, Britain and the Soviet Union would have also fallen. You'd lose all influence on world events, a very large North Korea. The world as we've known it since the end of WW2 would change. I've read that America's support to the Ukrainian war effort has saved the USA billions of dollars. To accomplish this level of destruction to the Russian war machine using American forces just in dollars alone would be in magnitudes more expensive. Not to sound cold, but America's support in these situations can be the best deal in town.